Oh, Lord, Lordy, Lordy, got loud out here. Okay.
Hello. Hi, Ghosty fam. Welcome to the Activity Continues podcast. If you're new here, we are friends and soul sisters who recap episodes of the TV show The Dead Files, and we also talk about other creepy shit, as well as our mundane lives. I'm Amy.
And I'm Megan, and thank you again for joining us. This week, Amy is recapping the Dead Files episode called They Came from the Hills. It is from season 13 and it's episode 8, and it originally aired February 8th of 2021. And Amy, do you want to tell us why we're covering this episode this week?
Yes, our good buddy, Amy, we call her Amy P. She's our patron.
Yep.
Patron Amy.
Patron Amy or Amy P. It's interchangeable, really.
Yeah, it really is. And she suggested this one. And I remember having seen this one, and it was a good one. But it was real fun to watch it again. It's got a lot of things, ticks a lot of boxes, let's say. It's got...
I love a good box ticking.
Got everything. I know. I know.
If I've said it once, I've said it 100 times.
Yeah. So another thing, too, we are back at our respective homes.
Amy kicked me out.
Well, we recorded the last two in person, and it's so much fun to do it that way. But it's really hard to edit because I am not a sound engineer and I have not yet figured out the magic of how to record two people in the same room and not have mic bleed.
Mm-hmm.
And so
I think a Band-Aid might help stop the bleeding.
Yeah, you think. Maybe just put a Band-Aid right over the microphone.
Yeah, I could see nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. If there are any engineers listening to this and want to give me a jingle and help me figure this shit out, that would be much appreciated. But I have watched 1,000 YouTube videos. I've read a ton of articles. I'm doing everything right. The only thing is that we're probably still sitting too close together. But we're like 6 feet apart.
Don't stand. Don't stand so close to me.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what the secret is, but I guess the secret is to get a new podcast studio with all high-end equipment and hire a sound engineer.
Perfect.
But we're not quite there yet.
Next week.
You guys need to buy some more third Three Spirit and Manscaped stuff before we can do that.
Yeah.
So yes, we are back at our respective homes, and that's just the way we're gonna probably do it. What we could do is you can still come over. You can just sit out on the bar, and I can stay in my office, and we can record in separate rooms. That way we won't pick up each other's voices. But it's not really, that's very much the same as what we're doing right here. It's not really, it's not the same vibe. But anyway, so that's the scoop. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
So I want to mention that we did, last time we recorded when we were together, we did a video of us unboxing our Manscaped stuff.
Yes,
we are still working,
you guys.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's really a lot of good stuff in that kit.
It is.
Honestly,
it is. It's the beard
trimmer, and like it was crazy. Yeah. I felt like it was a clown car because we just kept pulling stuff out. Like
I know, and we're like, wait, there's something under here.
As Billy Mays would say, but wait, there's more.
Yeah,
it just kept going.
Yeah, so it's a lot of stuff in that package.
It is.
And that package that they gave to us is the same one that you would get if you bought this beard hedge trimmer or whatever.
The beard hedge pro kit.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
It's the same one. Yeah, it's really nice.
So that you can go over to YouTube and watch our video of us unboxing all of that. Unfortunately, this one's all about beards, not balls. So we don't have any ball jokes.
Is it unfortunate? I feel like that's
not really. Not really. But for those of you who wanted ball jokes, there aren't any in this one. No. So also we have a new YouTube subscriber. So welcome to 315 Paranormal.
Hello. Welcome.
Hello.
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 Welcome to this crazy podcast. Oh my God. I made a new friend this week. We'll talk about it later. Sorry. I don't
That's okay.
know what thought process came to me, but so I went to, last weekend, my husband and I went to Discount Tires, living it up on a Saturday.
That sounds like quite the date night.
Listen, first of all, it was the prelude to our date night. So it was the date day. Keeping romance alive, Discount Tires. And we're standing in line, and this lady walks up to us, or behind us. She didn't walk up to us, but she was standing in line at Discount Tires with a little chihuahua shaking away. And I turned around and I was like, oh, hey, buddy. And I asked if I could pet, because you always ask if you can pet.
Always ask.
Because you never know. And chihuahuas are known for being a little aggressive. And so I said, hi, can I pet your puppy? And she said, of course. And so I was petting the puppy and we started talking. And then we were talking more, and we just then we started talking about true crime podcasts.
Oh.
Hello. Hello.
That's a good topic.
Yeah. So she's like scrolling through, and like, I listened to this one and this one. And I'm like, oh, but have you heard about this one and this one? And then I was like, and I have a podcast too. And she's like, you do? And she doesn't sound like that at all. But I made sure I did ask her pronouns. It is she, her. Made sure to ask. And I felt weird because like I didn't want to offend her, but people
would rather you ask.
She was like, thank you so much for asking. Because she did refer to her partner as they. And so I didn't want to assume, because
right.
I didn't want to be like, well, you were born a woman. Obviously you're a woman. So I asked her, I said, excuse me, I'm so sorry. What are your pronouns? And she was like, thank you for asking. And I was like, okay, then I made the right choice. And so her name is Wallace. And we chatted, and we exchanged phone numbers, and we've been texting.
Sweet.
She sent me pictures of her and her partner. They, oh my gosh, you would love them. They dressed up like 20s. So she's wearing a zoot suit with like a really neat hat. And in one picture, I swear these were like professionally done. She's holding like a thing of like, looks like whiskey and a cigar with her head down.
Oh,
badass. And then her partner has like a little hat, like a 20s little hat on.
Oh,
epitome of style. Like they were so neat.
Cool.
So yeah, I made a new friend.
Good. That's exciting.
It was really exciting. And she was so sweet. She's like, I think I was supposed to come here and meet you today. She's like, I thought I was getting new tires, but I got a friend. And I'm like, yes, you did get a friend.
That's excellent.
I know. She was so nice.
Whenever you meet people that you immediately click with, do you ever, now that we've been to Jenny, the psychic, do you ever feel like I probably knew this person in another life or where our souls are already friends or something?
That's how I felt when I met Amy, patron Amy.
Yeah.
Because I've said this to you multiple times, but we've only been friends for like maybe 2 years. But I feel like we've known each other forever. Like I can't imagine. I can't believe we've only known each other for like 2 years.
Yeah.
So
it's funny that some people are just like that.
It is. Tell me about your Matrix glitch.
Okay. So last week at work, well, I was at home, but working. And with my client, we were on Teams, Microsoft Teams, and we were discussing travel that we were booking for her boss. So I see a message that says from her that says, so-and-so client, let's call him client A, has already booked her a hotel for the Dallas trip. So basically telling me I didn't have to do that portion. And I had noticed in the calendar that one of the clients had already booked a hotel. And so I assumed that was the one she was talking about. So I replied, yep, I saw that. Sweet. Thanks. And then I went on to book the flight. I booked the flight. I went back to make sure flight, hotel, everything matched, the dates and all that. And there was no hotel booked. So that's when I realized that it wasn't client A that had booked the hotel. It was a different one. And I had got it mixed up in my head. And I do that kind of shit all the time. So no real problem. But then I scrolled back to see which client it was she was talking about so that I could make sure that I had it. It was not there. I scrolled back up. The message is not there. And I read through it. I read through it several times, and I put the client's name in there. I did a search for the client's name, and it came up in discussions we've had
prior
2 weeks ago. Nothing today.
What?
And then I asked her about it. I'm like, I think I just had a glitch. And I told her. And she goes, that never happened. Yeah.
And you were like, no, but it did.
I was like, but I swear to God.
Yeah. Oh, you have more glitches.
Isn't that bizarre?
Than anybody I know.
Really weird.
Yeah.
I'm like, what happened? Did I like black out? Did I go to another dimension for a little bit and have a different conversation?
Oh my God.
It was so weird. I mean, like I could see the words in my head and weren't there.
That's crazy. Speaking of, what'd you just say? Universe?
Oh, what did I say?
Dimension?
Oh, another dimension, another universe, parallel universe.
I just saw a meme today that said, we're living in the only universe where Post Malone is not a line cook.
Oh, that's kind of mean.
I love Post Malone, but anyways.
Oh, I don't really have any allegiance, but
I like his songs.
It's funny though. Okay. I don't know that I've ever heard one. If I had, I don't know if I'd recognize it.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah. I'm just all over the place with random ass topics tonight. So
yeah, that's okay. I am too.
As opposed to the other nights
when we are right on
target.
On track. Yeah. So I wanted to also mention that our fellow Boo Pod buddy, the Nightcap podcast, they changed their name to the Nightcap Nebula. So if you guys are looking for it, that's new artwork.
You thought it couldn't get cooler.
I know. And then when I posted your D&D set that you got, and I think it's a he, wrote back, we should do a Roll20 campaign and record it. And I wrote back, I don't know what that is, but I'll tell Megan all about it.
And then I wrote back, I have no idea, but I'm down for it. Yeah. I don't know what that means.
I don't either. But I think he replied, didn't he?
Oh, did he? I didn't get that notification.
Yeah,
I should check. Now I've got Don't Stand So Close to Me in my head.
Yeah, you said, I don't know what that is, but I'm 100% down.
Yeah.
And then he replied back, it's a website where you can play pen and paper games or any type of D&D style games online with friends. Go check it out.
Oh, did I miss that?
So Roll20. Well, he just did a reply to me or to us. So he replied on the post. But anyway, so Roll20 is apparently something that you should look into, and
I would love to
play online with friends.
So I don't see his because I'm on the post right now.
Oh,
hang on.
I'm just looking at my notifications.
Is it on Facebook?
No, Instagram.
Oh, Instagram. I was like, wait a minute. That's why I didn't see it. Oh my God. I'm never on Instagram. So don't stand so close to me. Okay. Anyway, sorry. Yes. All right.
Okay. So Roll20.
Yes, I would love to. I know. I need to. I'm having, speaking of D&D, we're playing again tomorrow.
Yeah. I wanted to you should maybe tell people how the last game you did.
Yeah.
I don't think we've recorded since you.
Oh my God. We haven't. So we got together with the group, and we again spent like 3 hours working on characters, mostly because I'd forgotten everything. And so we're like filling out the sheet, and I'm like, okay, how do we know what our armor class is, and how do we figure out hit points? And so we redid it all. And then I was super extra prepared because so my class and level, I'm a 3, so I get 2 cantrip spells, which are just like spells you can use with no energy. You just say them. And then 4 level 1 spells and 2 level 2 spells. And so I was like researching all the spells, and then I wrote out all the spells. And then on the side, I wrote out what every spell did and what page to find it on. So if we're playing and we're like, what the fuck does this spell do? We can be like, oh, it's right here.
Look it right up.
So yeah, we did that. And then we only got about an hour of actual gameplay. And my husband was being a dusty doofus, so I don't think he'll be playing tomorrow.
Really?
He said he didn't.
I thought it was something you guys were supposed to do together.
It was, but he's like,
what's up his ass?
I don't know. He was just not taking it seriously. And so I even told him, I'm like, if you don't want to take this seriously, then don't play. Like, I'd rather you not play.
Yeah.
So we're doing it tomorrow. But it was so fun because so like Brent, our friend, was our DM, our dungeon master, and then John's brother Jason, he was playing. It was me and John. And it's like so much more than like just rolling the dice and fighting, because your dungeon master is reading you like the scenario, and then he's like, your band comes to a clearing, and then we take it from there. So like, do we set up camp? Do we go hunt for food? So John and I set up camp, and John's brother Jason went to go hunt for food. And then while we were doing our thing, Jason had to decide, what weapon do I use? And then a fox walks by, and Jason is like, do I shoot this fox or do I wait? So like, it was so fun.
So the dungeon master decides that a fox walked by or something, right?
Yeah. Yeah. The
like
dungeon master
comes from,
yes.
So he's basically like the storyteller.
Yes, that's all.
Like starts the prompts, and then you guys
and then
finish
we finish them. Yeah.
Okay.
And then he also controls the bad guys that we fight. So we had a first fight. We fought a scout and 2 bandits, and so he was playing for the scout and the 2 bandits.
Okay.
Not to brag, but my character killed the scout.
Woohoo!
And then Jason.
What's your character's name?
Beatricia.
Oh, pretty.
Yeah. She's a wood elf. So she's like very in tune with nature. Oh. And I think eventually I want her to have a pet. I was going to go for a falcon, but I'm like, that's so overdone. So I think she's going to have a snake.
Oh.
Yeah. And I'm a high elf, not a high elf. I'm a wood elf, but I'm a noble. And so like, I'm like perfect, because I don't want her to be like me. I said this last time. Yeah. But I want her to be super aloof and like very cold. And I'm like, noble, perfect. So but yeah, I'm going to definitely check that out, the Roll20 campaign, because I think that would be so fun. So fun. Yeah. So that's the D&D news. Cool. Did you see the TikTok I sent you with Geneva Rose's book? Yeah. I think the one you sent me, not just now, right? Because you sent me one just now that I haven't seen it. I don't know if it's about her. No, I sent you. It was like last night or yesterday or something, where Colleen Hoover. Yes, I saw that one. I had seen that one before. Yeah, she's like, this author wrote about my book. Yeah, Colleen and then Hoover. They wouldn't ever heard of her. She's like blown up. I know. Well, so I want to mention that, as you guys know, if you listened last week, I am reading Geneva Rose's book. How is it? Scott be damned. It's really good. I am enjoying it. It's so funny because I think I'm guessing what's happening, but you and I talked about it, and like Scott is giving her more publicity, and more people are going to read her book. Exhibit A, Amy. Right. Exactly. But then as I was reading it, I get to like the second chapter, and lo and behold, there's a character in it named Scott, and he's an asshole. So I screenshotted and I sent it to Megan, and I'm like, I think we know why Scott's upset. I think we know why Scott doesn't like this book. Yeah. Maybe Scott sees himself in that character. I think he might. He probably does. Yeah. And anyway, also, I found an article on deadline.com that this book has been optioned for a movie. So it's going to be a movie directed by somebody I've never heard of named Sigil Avon from Losing Alice. I don't know what that is either. Nope. And the script is by an Oscar-nominated writer, William Broyles, who also wrote Apollo 13 and Castaway. Ever heard of him? Ever heard of him? So these are like big. Maybe Tom Hanks will be in it because he was in both of those. Maybe he'll play Scott. Don't make Tom Hanks an asshole. No. Although I will say he was an asshole in Elvis. Oh, was he? I haven't seen that. John watched it, and I kind of came in at the end of it. He's just such a good actor. I just love him so much. Yeah. Yeah. I love Tom Hanks. Yeah. I love him. He's a treasure. Too. He is. Yes. Sorry, I keep derailing us. No, that's okay. So I have one more little story to tell. Tell me. And it's not really a major story. It's just something weird that happened to me this past weekend. Greg and I were going out to lunch, brunch, whatever, with Flip Phone Jody. Flip Phone Jody. And, yeah. So, and we were going to a restaurant called The How, which I want to give props to because we had a great time. It's really nice. It's out in South Minneapolis. It's
That's where I'm going with this kind of. But great restaurant, shitty parking. I mean, they have a parking lot, but it's also very, very busy on the weekends. And
how was the food?
So it was wonderful. Food was great.
Hungry.
They have a whole bunch of different kinds of eggs Benedict. Yeah.
You speak in my language. I fucking love a good eggs Benedict.
Jody had one that was like crispy fried chicken on the biscuits with the hollandaise on top and an egg. And she said it was amazing.
Oh my God. Here's the thing. Like, everybody talks about how hard it is to make hollandaise sauce.
It's not.
It's not. You guys, if I can make, it's just butter and egg yolk.
Yeah, I know.
If I can make hollandaise sauce, anyone can.
Yeah, it's not hard.
You need lemon juice, though, because you need that little bit of a
lemon juice, too.
You need it, because I've tried it. Doesn't work without it.
Really? I don't think I've ever tried it. I've only made it from scratch like that a couple of times, but I just get those packets, and you just add, what is it, milk to it? No. Is it milk? Water? I don't remember. Butter. I think it's just butter.
Oh, yeah.
I don't
There's
know.
a lot of butter in hollandaise sauce.
I don't know.
A lot of butter.
But I know. It's not like it's health food or anything. But
do you think we're counting our butter calories?
Does it look like? Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
That's a whole nother thing.
It's a whole other podcast.
I'm doing a program where I'm trying to be good, and it's not my favorite thing. I had a donut today.
Sometimes you need a donut.
Right. So we're driving to this place in South Minneapolis, and we're going down 38th Street.
Okay.
And
is Flip Phone Jody with you, or is she meeting you there?
No, she's meeting us there. She lives out there.
Oh, okay.
And so and I'm just like looking at all the little shops. I'm not really paying attention to where we are exactly. And then as we approach Chicago, Greg says, "Oh, I forgot about George Floyd Square. Is that still closed off?" Because he thought we weren't going to be able to get through. And I was like, "No, I think they opened it up a while ago."
Yeah.
And as soon as we got close, I just felt this overwhelming sense of sadness and dread. And I just started bawling. And I'm looking over and I see the cup foods and I see the statues in the middle of the street. That it's kind of like there's two blocks where it's kind of like a roundabout where they put these giant statues in the middle and you drive around them. And I was like, I just felt it felt like something was happening to me, you know? And you know how the psychic Jenny said, psychic Jenny said, you have to keep saying, you know, is it yours?
Yeah.
Is it mine or is it someone else's? And I kept saying, it's not mine. This is not mine. But then it kind of is. It kind of is all of ours.
Yeah. It kind of is. Yeah. Yeah.
It was really, really weird. It was really tough. And then 2 blocks later, I was fine. I was fine. It was just being in that atmosphere that I just felt like heaviness.
Those emotions had to have imprinted on the land.
Oh God. Yeah. Ugh.
I saw today that Governor Tim Walz passed the Crown Act, and I don't remember what the acronym is. But basically, nobody in the workplace can be discriminated against for their natural hair. People of color or whatever. So that includes, but is not limited to, braids, dreads, and locks.
Oh.
So I thought that was really neat. Yeah.
That's excellent.
It's really cool.
Good.
People.
I had not heard that. Yeah. But that makes me happy.
It does make me happy. I thought that was really neat. Yeah. He signed it into effect last week, I think.
Oh, right away. Good.
Yeah.
Hopefully people won't lose their jobs.
I shouldn't.
It's ridiculous.
The thing that's so sad is we shouldn't have to have an act to protect people with their natural hair.
I know.
Are you shitting me
right now? I know.
Yeah, it's
ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Redonkulous, as the kids say. Just kidding. No kid says that. Nobody.
No, I say it. As old people say it.
I should have said it as the elderly say.
As the boomers say. No, I'm not a boomer. I'm Gen X.
You're not a boomer. I'm not a boomer.
No. So I think we only have one more thing on the list. Yeah, before we 40 minutes in get to the topic at hand.
Do we just jump right in an hour and a half later?
Anyway, one last thing. So our last episode that just came out today in this world, even though you guys aren't going to hear this for another week or so, is called Vessels for the Dead. And that is the one with the dolls If you know, you know. And this was a recommendation from the Scarlet and Gray Witch on Twitter.
Yep. She's the one that has the dog who also follows us.
Yes. Merlin, the Wonder Dog. I think. Anyway, I had posted on Twitter that the episode is out, that it is her suggestion, and she listened to it, and she wrote back. She commented on Twitter. You guys can go read the whole thread if you want. I won't tell you everything, but that I just thought this was interesting. She said, so I remember thinking that Lisa, she wrote Lisa, should just get a storage unit, put her dolls there, and if she misses them so much, set up a cot in there and go sleep with them.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a really good idea.
It is.
And then she said, I did wonder if she has a mental illness that leads to her compulsive behavior like the dolls. And I said, I did too. Yeah. So I kind of didn't want to make fun of her too much because I do think there might be something going on there. But yeah. So we're sorry if that's the case, but
yes,
we were kind of annoyed at how she disregarded her daughters.
I mean, if that's the case, then she needs to get help because as Amanda from Wine and Crime says, it's not your responsibility that you live with mental illness, but it is your responsibility to treat that mental illness.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sure.
So.
Okay.
All right, let's do it. Anything
now
else?
Let's jump right in.
Now let's jump right in. 35 minutes in.
When I was a child, I ran for the bins. Been so many downs, so many beds. Now I'm coming down, you'll lower your looks. I was born from woods, deep for your limbs. I'll burn your bones.
In the Prohibition years of Minneapolis, Minnesota, there was an underworld. Gangs of bootleggers, bandits, sluggers, and murderers roamed the streets and conducted their business. One of the most legendary figures of that time was Isidore Blumenfeld, also known as Kid Can. He began as a newsboy and grew into the most notorious gangster Minneapolis has to offer, and either a psychopath or the nicest guy ever, depending on who you ask. Volsteadland explores this world. Join me, Amy, and my co-host Heather as we journey through this era of prohibition, bank robberies, empty promises, and murder.
Content warning on this one.
It's going to be tough.
There is a motorcycle accident that results in death that happened to the family, not in history, because it didn't happen, on camera, but, and then in history, there is child death and murder, and of course, Native American murders.
Why wouldn't there be?
Why wouldn't there be? I mean, United States.
Minnesota. It's the universe.
It's the universe, yeah. The child death thing, it might be difficult for you. If you want, I can skip over the details.
We'll see.
But
I don't want to take away from it.
Well, it's okay. So this is, as we said, season 13, episode 8, called They Come from the Hills. Suggested by Amy P.
Yay, Amy P. Who's going to yell at us probably no less than, she's probably already yelled at us like 30 times.
She probably already. She's probably like...
She doesn't yell at us in like a mean way. I should clarify.
No.
She yells at us like if we're trying to think of a word.
It's as if she's in the room with us and she's listening to like any of us do who listen to podcasts. Yes. Like when you listen to someone else and they're like, "What was the name of that thing?" And you're screaming it.
You're screaming it. That's what Amy does. You, but she has our message, so she can just text us and be like, "You guys."
Messages us.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So she doesn't scream at us in a mean way. She's not mean.
No. She's being helpful.
She is.
We just can't hear her from the future.
Not yet.
Not yet. Someday.
Yeah.
So this takes place in Lake Elsinore, California, which is about an hour outside of LA. And here's another weird thing. Greg and I went to lunch today at a Chinese restaurant. We're sitting there and I hear it's not even very busy. I mean, it's, there's probably 5 tables in there. And about 2 booths away from us, I hear a guy talking about something and he mentioned Lake Elsinore. And I went, Lake Elsinore?
What?
I've never even heard of that before I saw this. And here that guy is talking about Lake Elsinore. It was bizarre.
No.
Yeah.
You have the coolest stuff happen to you. A day in the life of Amy, I tell you.
Yeah.
That should be a reality show.
There you go. It's messy up here, I tell you. So the client is a young adult son. He's 23. His name's Austin. And his sister Delaney is 13. And his mom is Milena and their grandmother Judy. They all live there.
Okay.
So that's one thing I thought was kind of cool. There's all these generations living
that's
in the
really
house
neat.
together. Which, by the way, Amy P. kind of lives that life too.
Yeah, she does.
She lives with her parents and her siblings in this big house, and they're just
living their best
all
life
live together. Yeah. I mean, part of me is like, that would be awesome. And then part of me is like, I don't think I could handle my family that 24/7.
I could handle it if like we had our own floors, like if we could like live separately. I could handle it with my mom fine, but my dad is my dad's my dad. He likes everything like his own way.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of do too. So it would be hard for me to live with other people that close to me, but whatever. I'm glad for people that can do it. It sounds great. So the experience, that's the theme. Don't get the fuck out of my way.
GTFO.
Yeah. So the client experiences are they're feeling tortured. They're being watched, seeing apparitions. I said it right this time.
Good job.
Thank you. Shadow figures, and they're physically touched. And the mom, Milena, has unexplained health issues. And so we first see Amy arriving, and she says that she doesn't feel good, and she feels like somebody here is dying. And she feels like she's getting beat up.
Do you think she ever arrives at a place and she's like, I love it here?
There's nothing going on here.
I'm happy. All the spirits are happy. But I guess
wouldn't that be nice if they were happy spirits somewhere?
Remember who was the guy? Big Ed, I think was his name, and he was the Big
J.
Big J, yes.
Yeah.
Can't there be more Big J's in the world?
I know.
There probably are. We just don't know about them.
Well, and sometimes there is somebody who's in the house that's like a family member or something, and they're kind of looking out for people. You know, they're looking out for the people who live there.
Yeah.
And anyway, so Steve is meeting with Austin. They're sitting outside. They're drinking out of these huge, gorgeous mugs. I noted that they had really cool mugs. And it's just a beautiful day in California, and I was a little bit jealous.
Every day is a beautiful day in California. I lived in San Diego and it was 70 and sunny every day. At one point, I literally was like, can it do something other than be sunny? Like, I'm sick of the sun. Now I look back and I'm like, you foolish, foolish girl.
Foolish.
So they're in California. Gorgeous.
So they're in California drinking out of these big mugs. And Steve asks about the family. Austin shows them a picture of the four of them that live together. And he runs down everybody who lives there. And Steve asks why they live in this giant house with only 4 people. And Austin says, well, when they moved in, there were more people there. His grandfather was alive, for one. His grandfather died from a stroke, but also had Alzheimer's. And he died in the house. He was only 69 years old.
That's so young.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Alzheimer's can strike pretty young nowadays.
It's the fucking worst.
I know. Austin thinks that he's there in the house with them. And then they go through the experiences. And Steve asks if he thinks this activity started when his grandfather died. And he said no. What he thinks it might have something to do with is that his mother was in an accident about a year ago, and the other person died. It was a motorcyclist who hit her car. And she is still distraught about it,
I'm sure.
even though it wasn't her fault. But she keeps saying things like, oh, if I had left the house 15 minutes earlier or whatever. All these what ifs, which you can't do that. I mean,
how could she know?
I know. But you can't.
I mean,
I would do it too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, it's always like, what if this was different? And not that it's your fault.
Right.
But it's like, what if
I had, gone a
what if the
different
dog
route?
had barfed on the floor and I didn't leave on time,
Or what if I'd gotten up early and left early?
Yeah.
Or what if I'd taken a different route?
Yeah.
Or what if I'd stopped for coffee? Or what if I'd stopped for food? Or what if I hadn't stopped for food? Like, oh, honey.
A million scenarios. And you know that's just playing through her head
I know.
night and day.
That poor woman.
I know. It's awful. Well, it only gets worse for her.
Great.
So buckle up.
Yeah.
So now we're at Amy, and she's walking up and she says, oh, lordy, it got loud out here.
Oh, lordy, got loud out here. Okay.
She was really goofy in this one. She got, whoa, she's doing a lot of weird voices. I got a lot of good sound clips. She says that she's getting a really bad residual energy, and it's a vortex for the dead.
Oof.
And she says if a sensitive moved here, their abilities would get amplified because of this energy.
Which could be really bad if you don't know you're sensitive.
Exactly. So now Steve is in the living room with Austin, and Austin says he's seen an apparition of a little girl with pigtails and a dress. He's only seen her one time, but he feels her mischievous energy frequently.
Well, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Mischievous doesn't mean bad.
Right. That's not bad. But now we also he sees a shadow figure, slender, no features, all black.
Shadow figures are never good.
Nope.
Never good.
Nope. So now we cut to Amy, and she sees two weird shadow-looking things. One tall, one short. The little one has a skeleton body, and the tall one throws the little one over its shoulders a lot. And she calls them shape-shifting tricksters.
Oof. That's a good title for the episode.
I know. I know. And she says they make people physically ill and can create PTSD.
Great.
And they're just doing this for fun because they're bored. Yeah.
Love it. No, it's
sadistic motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm. I love this. Off to we're 5 minutes in?
Yeah, there's a lot of shit going on in this one.
You did say it checked a lot of boxes.
It does check a lot of boxes. We got shadows, we got apparitions far.
We got illness.
Yep. So Steve is with Austin in his bedroom, and he explains how he feels the bed shake. And then Steve asks him to demonstrate. He demonstrates like he's like pushing the bed, like it's shaking. And he says, nothing else in the room. There's nothing under the bed. There's no fan, no AC. He even mentions the garage door, like the garage door is not going up. He says he's tried to debunk it and he just can't.
Yeah. Did Steve ask if it was the dog? Did we try that?
I don't think they had a dog, but no, he didn't ask. And he didn't ask if he was boozing either.
Maybe Steve was boozing.
I know Steve was off his game today. Something pinches Austin's leg. He says like with fingernails, and he shows like with pinchers. It feels like fingernails. And he said it doesn't leave a mark, but it sort of feels like nerve pain. And I'm thinking, well, maybe it is. But Steve asks, does it feel like you're getting bit by something? Do you think you could be getting bit by something? And he says, well, no, because like he's washed his sheets and stuff. But also I'm thinking if he was actually bit by something,
there would be a mark.
Wouldn't there be a mark?
Yeah.
So Austin says he also gets really bad nightmares. One in which he was chased out of the house by a demon and chased through hell. Like literally through hell. Like everything was red.
Shit.
Okay. So now Amy is talking about the shapeshifter trickster things, and she says they are right on them. Like they're right next to them all the time. They're on the ceiling over the bed.
Okay.
Or on the bed. And they're definitely on the bed. That's probably what's shaking.
Yeah.
And she says they are definitely interacting with the living.
I don't like this episode.
I know.
It's scary.
It's really creepy. It's creepy. And she says she knows that the living are having nightmares, and one is in physical pain. And then she says, I don't think it's good. They're dying or some shit.
As far as the living are concerned, I don't think it's good. They're dying or some.
Oh, of course it's not good, Amy. Even if they weren't dying, this isn't good.
I know.
Amy, she says what we're all thinking.
I know. So now we're going to talk to Milena.
The mother.
I get confused because the mother. Yes. Yes. Mother's name.
Mother Milena. Mother
Austin's Mother Milena. And I'm confused
say that
because
3 times fast.
Yeah. I can't even say it once. Slow. So her name is spelled like it's Melania. And so I have to type it out in the way it's pronounced.
Milena. Not the way it looks.
Milena.
Yeah.
Right. So she also believes that her father is here at the house. She said 2 days before he died, she had a nightmare about him and what he would look like after he died, and it came true. So
how does she know what he looks like after he died?
He died in the house. So she saw him after he died.
Okay. I see what you're saying. I thought she meant like a spirit.
Yeah. No, what his body looked like after he passed.
God.
Sorry, I should have made that clear.
That's okay.
So Steve brings up the car accident.
Great. Pour salt in that wound, Steve.
I know.
You know that thing that you're really struggling with that you probably don't want to talk about? Let's talk about it.
We're going to talk about that now. She agrees that, she's not over it and that she thinks that the dead motorcyclist attached himself to her because when she thinks of the accident, she sees it from a bird's eye view.
And you know what? Maybe he did, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's malevolence,
Right. Oh, I'm sure that his spirit doesn't blame her.
No, I'm sure it doesn't.
Especially if it wasn't her fault.
Oh, God.
Austin explained the accident, like how the person came around the corner and blah, blah, blah. It was not her fault, legally or whatever. But I'm sure she feels like it is.
I'm sure she does. She survived.
Yep.
Oh,
Steve
my
says,
heart breaks for her. I just want to hug her.
I know. This whole family was so sweet.
Yeah.
Really sweet. Hey, family, if you want to come on the show, please.
I want to hug you so much.
I know.
We'll do an on-site recording.
Yeah. Yeah, you can come over to our house.
No, we'll go to theirs. Keep up,
you want
baby.
to go to the haunted house?
Because they're in California.
Oh, they're in California. That's true. Well, I'll sit outside on the porch with those mugs and I don't think I want to go in.
That's true. Me neither.
But so Steve says, and I thought this was really intuitive of Steve. He said it sounds like she has abilities, and she says she probably does.
Steve,
and that's why I know. I'm like,
look at
Steve, you don't even believe in this shit.
No, I think he believes.
I think he does
because we're on season 13.
He just doesn't experience.
Yeah.
It. Yeah. So she has also seen shadow figures. She sees them peeking out around rooms.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
I know.
Excuse me, sir. Please don't do that.
Could you please not be peeking?
Thank you.
Thanks.
Love Megan and Amy.
She sees one that is a full human shape and another one that was like a triangle. So I think she's seeing the big and the little. And she heard someone say right in her ear, real close, look, I got to be honest with you. But then I don't think they said anything after that.
Okay. New plan. We're recording noon in the sun.
It is a little late. It's dark. My windows are open too. That freaks me out.
That's so
Someone
scary.
could be watching. Oh. I know.
I wonder what he had to be honest about, though.
I know. He never said.
Don't leave me.
Or she never said, or it got cut. Yeah.
I'd be okay, first of all, I'm really scared. But second of all, spill the tea.
Need the deets.
As the kids say.
As the kids say. I'm one of them, I'm so
We're
cool because
so
I watch
hip.
TikTok.
We're so hip.
Yep. So she was asleep. She tells about one time she was asleep in bed and her bed was punched, like right between her legs. A bam. She was in bed alone because Steve asked, was your boyfriend here? And she said, no. And she does have some health problems and she believes that they are paranormal.
They probably are.
I want to bring up one more thing I should have brought up in the beginning, but something you said made me, it triggered me in a good way to remind me. There is a new show out. I think it just came out this past week called Not Dead Yet.
Okay.
It is a sitcom. There's a few episodes out now. I've already watched 2. Anyway, it is Gina Rodriguez from Jane the Virgin.
Yes. Oh, she's adorable.
And she's really good. And she's excellent in this. And Lauren Ash, my buddy Lauren.
What's the name?
She's on True Crime and Cocktails.
Yes.
Podcast. And she's from Superstore. She's Dina from Superstore.
Oh my God.
Yeah. She's in this.
Okay.
And then there's the other woman I recognized was did you ever watch New Girl?
Yes.
Okay. So Jess's best friend, the beautiful girl that was
that Mary
model.
Schmidt?
She's in it.
Cece.
Yes. Cece. Yeah. I don't remember the actress's name.
I don't either.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Also, spoiler alert if you weren't that far. She Mary Schmidt.
She Mary Schmidt. She's in this too.
She's
beautiful as ever.
Oh, flawless.
Yeah, she's beautiful. Anyway, so the premise is that Gina Rodriguez's character is friends with the beautiful girl.
Cece.
And Cece. I'll just call her Cece. That's not her name.
That's not her name.
I can't remember her name in the show. Sarah, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, they are friends and they work at a newspaper.
Okay.
And the Gina Rodriguez character is just starting the job at the newspaper. And so she gets the shit jobs. And right now she's writing obituaries. And she doesn't want to be doing that, but she's writing obituaries. So what happens is when she gets an assignment to write an obituary, the dead person shows up and follows her around and tries to get her to write their best obituary.
Oh my God, I love this.
It's a great premise.
This.
It's really fun with these ghosts following her around, and she's freaking out all the time.
Does she see them?
She does.
Okay.
She sees them. No one else does. She sees them. She hears them. They walk around with her. So whenever she wants to walk around and talk with them, she puts an earphone in like she's talking on the phone, so people don't stare at her funny. It's funny. It's sweet. It's
okay. Well, now I've got to watch.
It's really good. You're gonna like it.
Oh my god,
like
that sounds like
the
cutest show ever.
It's really good. Yeah. So, and when you said I was talking about one of the other things, and you said no, there's the very first episode scene where she sees her first ghost. She just looks at him and goes, no. And it's Martin Mull. The first ghost that she sees is played by Martin Mull.
Oh my gosh, I know the name, and I know if I saw him, I would.
He's an older guy.
Oh, he was in Roseanne. He played the if it is who I'm thinking of, he was in Roseanne. He played the cafe owner. He was in Sabrina, the original Sabrina.
He's been in a gazillion things. He's been around forever.
He played the gay guy in Roseanne. He was a gay cafe owner. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he's okay. Yeah, I like him. He's funny.
So that's my recommendation.
Okay.
Not dead yet. Watch it. Learn it. Know it. Live it.
Love it.
We can talk about it next time.
Okay. Homework.
Okay, back to the task at hand.
Okay, back to the scary
So now
show.
we're meeting Judy. This is Austin's grandmother.
Okay.
And she thinks that her husband maybe comes and visits. She says that some family members that live there get annoyed for no reason. She doesn't call anybody out. She's also really worried about her daughter's medical issues. And they don't really go into detail about what her issues are.
Maybe she didn't want them to.
Yeah. I mean, they talk about it a little bit later, but not
in depth.
In depth, yeah. So Steve wants to know what she has experienced. And she said after going to bed one night, she heard something come in from the bathroom, walk through the room, and sit down on the bed.
Goodbye.
Yeah. And she said she just laid there and then went to sleep. I'm like, I'm sorry.
What?
Fell asleep after that?
Every light in the house would be on. I would just be surrounded by Bibles and salt.
I assume she thinks it was her husband, but still.
Does. I couldn't. Nope.
Nope. So now Amy is in one of the bedrooms, and I believe I think it is the grandmother's bedroom that she's in. I'm not 100% positive, but that's usually how they set these up so that they're in the same room.
Amy's walk with who they're interviewing.
Yeah. So she's in the room and she goes over to one of the doors. She's looking kind of like she's listening to something, and she walks over to one of the doors and she closes it. And then she looks at Matt and she goes,
well, that's weird. I just heard lock that door. Weird. It was loud, like lock that door.
Yeah. And he said, who is saying this? And she said, the Tricksters. And then she says, they're here. She's sitting on the bed and she goes, they're here. And they're under the bed all the time.
The Tricksters. They're here under the bed all the time. It's under the bed and it's moving and it's moving. And crawling up from under the bed at the end of the bed, crawling up, seeing hands, some kind of hands. Oh God, not again. Oh God.
I don't like this episode. It's scary.
This is a scary one.
I don't like this episode. It's scary.
Yeah. So now she's going.
Okay. Take your energy and leave.
So now Steve's going into town, driving the caddy, ring shot. And he's going to meet with a genealogist.
Not a gynecologist.
That's right. So he says that she has a horrifying story about the Native Americans.
Super.
Oh, here we go.
Well, aren't they all horrifying? To be honest.
I know. Really. Her name is Marge Bettetti.
Marge.
And
oh my God, I love her.
I know. And she's really cute. She has this big black, bouffant hairdo. I mean, it's long, but she's got the top parts all poofed up.
Mm-hmm. Is she young or old?
She's 60, maybe.
I've never met a young Marge. Can you imagine a baby Marge?
What's your newborn's name?
Marge.
Well, it's Margaret, but we're going to call her Marge.
Marge.
I mean, I've heard Margie for a younger person, but not Marge.
Baby Marge.
Marge is large and in charge.
Don't put your hands in your diapers.
Marge, quit eating that dirt.
Keep your pants on.
That would be hilarious, though.
I do say that a lot to my son. He pulls his pants down a lot.
Kids like to walk around naked.
Why? I mean, never mind. I know why.
I mean, probably feels good.
Yeah, free.
So anyway, Marge tells us about how this area was inhabited by the Luceños tribe. They lived here for over 10,000 years before the European settlers came.
Of course they did. 10,000.
I guess I never really thought about how long the natives were here before the white man came and knocked them off. But I guess I wasn't thinking 10,000 years.
You know, because America, we really don't have that much of a history the way that we think of like Italy or Europe or China. I mean, they have millennia of history and we do too, but you know, we've cut it off to when we arrived.
We don't know anything about it because we killed them all.
Yeah. And that makes me think of Aladdin where the genie goes, 10,000 years will give you such a crick in the neck. This is what's in my head.
Robin Williams, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's no useful information up here. It's just fucking movie quotes and song lyrics that just go
nothing
nowhere.
Wrong with that. There's nothing wrong
Can't
with
do math,
that.
but I'll give me a word. I'll give you a song quote.
I love it.
Yeah, that's a long time to be wiped
10,000 years.
Just probably
it's
like
amazing.
A generation and a half.
Yeah. And how long did it take us? Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, it didn't take us long to wipe them out.
No.
To take all their land
disgusting.
and destroy their heritage and their culture and everything. Anyways.
Yep. Okay.
Join
Way
us
to bring it down, Megan.
Yeah, thanks. Join us on our comedy show.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Love that.
Okay, so this doesn't get any better. This is going to get a little worse here before we
has not gone any better. It's literally started at the bottom and we're just digging down.
We're going down further. Down, down, down. So in 1798, Spanish missionaries came and established a settlement nearby. They took over the land and converted as many people as they could to Catholicism.
And I bet the word converted is loosely used.
This makes me so fucking...
I know.
I mean, it's not bad enough that they took their land. They had to convert them to their fucking religion.
And I guarantee you it wasn't voluntary.
No.
It was either convert or be murdered.
Or die. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And not in like I mean, I guess there's no quote pleasant way to die, but I'm sure it was like torturing them.
Yeah.
Burning them.
Yeah.
I hate people.
Especially those that are guided by those kinds of religions.
That's the thing. Like,
think they can be the only one true church.
Who cares what you believe in as long as you believe in something that guides you to be good and decent to other people.
Right.
If it's God or Allah or Buddha or any other deity, what does it matter if you're a good person?
Yeah.
That's another podcast. Anyway, let's move on.
Okay. So the tribe's people got sick from all the European diseases.
Of course they did.
Smallpox, measles, influenza,
mumps,
and many of them died out.
Yep.
In 1846, the Mexican-American War began, which led to one of the bloodiest events in the region's history, the Temecula Canyon Massacre.
Great. That sounds like a fun thing.
Yep. In January of 1874, Mexican generals captured a bunch of the Luceños and lured them out of their hiding spot and ambushed them. At least 100 were killed that day. Okay, so moving right along. Now we're at Amy. She is seeing the shape-shifting tricksters again, and she was asking her guides about it, and they told her these guys are not natives.
Okay.
Matt asks...
not that I know a ton, but I wouldn't think that natives would take on that energy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not that I know a ton, and I'm.
They've certainly tried to go for revenge before in these stories.
That's true. No, that's accurate. Yeah, actually, you know what? Take away what I said.
But
I don't blame them if they do.
Yeah,
their whole culture was destroyed.
I know.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. I mean, it's not.
It's not.
But gotta move on. So Matt asks if these might change shapes and look like other people. And Amy says, yeah, one person in this room saw it look different. It had a bigger head. And then she said, and then when it came down the hall towards another person, it looked even different. So it really can change shape.
Maybe a little girl.
Possibly a little girl. Sure. Yep. So Steve says he got a call from a friend of his who writes books, Aleda Wan.
Well, that's a fun name.
Wan, I know. So here's another story about a bunch of asshole white men.
You could just say about white men. I mean, the ass was kind of implied at this point in our show.
In these stories?
Yes, in these stories. Yes.
Yes, because there's another one in the last story too.
Great.
Like I'm telling you, there's everything here. So this one is a story about Jim Henry, who she calls a common crook. In 1964, he met a man named John Mason, and they were both Confederate supporters. They form the Mason Henry gang.
Great.
Real creative there. Just take both their names in.
Well, I mean, the white men in these stories aren't known for their creativity.
Smart. So they became guerrilla fighters. She calls them small-time terrorists. I don't know why this is small-time. This doesn't seem very small to me. But November 20th, 1864, they began brutally murdering all the Union supporters they could find. They killed 16 people on that one day, and a reward was posted for their arrest at $1,500 each. That's a lot of money in 1864.
1864?
1864,
Let me see if I can do a converter.
$1,500.
$1,500.
On my other podcast, Volstead Land, we were always comparing money, 1930s money to today's money. So I used to just have the converter up on my screen. I found it.
Okay.
It is $28,356.40 in today's money.
Say that again. So their reward was $1,500.
$1,500 each in 1864. That is the same equivalent to $28,356.40 today.
Wow.
Yeah.
So turning them both in would get you the equivalent of about $60K.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So Henry had set up a camp about a mile and a half from the client's house.
Mm-hmm.
So that this all happened near there. In September of 1865, Jim sends one of his henchmen, whose name was John Rogers, into town to get some horseshoe nails, but the guy can't resist stopping for a drink at the saloon called Whiskey Point.
Of course not. What do you expect him to do anything without a good glass of whiskey?
That's right. He had more than one, but so she shows a photo of the town. It doesn't look like much, like dirt. It's really all you can see. It's not a good photo.
That's probably what it was.
Yeah, it probably. I mean, yeah, it was
in 1865. So, I mean, there's
right. So he got drunk and he started bragging about his connection to the Mason Henry gang. The Union men at the bar take note and alert the sheriff, Benjamin Matthews, who gathers his posse and makes the drunk show him the camp.
It probably wasn't even that hard either.
No. Hey, buddy, let's go. Let's go to your house.
Yeah. Oh, hey, show me where y'all are sitting. Oh, sure, right this way. Right over here, sir. Is where
they get to the camp. They all get to the camp, and Jim Henry, the original guy, he dies in a hail of bullets. Good. 57 bullet wounds.
Good.
And Steve chuckles and goes,
okay, so they lit him up good.
Yes, they did, Steve.
And then she shows Steve an article, and I paused and read a little bit of it, and it said he fell completely riddled after wounding the sheriff. So he shot at the sheriff first.
He probably shot first. Yeah, like you said.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So she says that they take his body into town, they photograph it, and they display it like a trophy.
They do that. They did that a lot back then.
I mean, not that he didn't deserve it, but gross.
But there was another story that I did where they did that too, where he was it was a well-known like gang, and they did the same thing. They killed him and then they displayed his body so everybody knew he was dead.
Yep.
Yeah. No thanks.
Okay, so now Amy's outside with Matt, and she sees a dead male and his horse. She said like old Western times, but she says his name is Joseph. And he's in his late 20s, early 30s. And he really wants to get moved on. Mm-hmm. Now, he doesn't sound like one of the bad guys. And I went back through the names. We have a Jim Henry, John Mason, John Rogers, and Benjamin Matthews, no Joe.
Maybe he was
I don't know who this is.
He killed. They killed.
It could have been one of the 16 people that died that day. Yeah, it could have been. She says she doesn't like him, though. She's not a great person. But anyway, so Steve is now searching through old records.
Digging through the archives.
Yep. He finds articles about a serial killer.
Great.
See? This one has everything.
Oh, my God.
Except aliens. There's no aliens.
That we know of.
Well, no, there's not. No, really alien. Okay. Anyway, so he reaches out to a former cop who knows all about this case. And this is where I was like, yes, Cheryl Dorsey is her name, and we've seen her before.
Mm-hmm.
She was in your episode. She's the beautiful Black woman with the big gray hair.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved her.
She's great. She's a former cop. So
She's a
Steve starts
genius.
out strong by saying, before we get into what this blank did, and I think he said prick. I watched it a couple times and tried to see his mouth.
Tried to lip read.
Yeah. So she tells us about William Suff. He was born in 1950. When he was 16, his dad abandoned the family.
Right.
His mom remarried an asshole who verbally abused the kids. We've got a whole bunch more asshole men here in this story. So Steve notes that he was verbally abused as a kid too, but he didn't wind up as a serial killer.
Steve.
I know. I didn't know that about Steve.
I didn't either.
Makes me sad.
It does. How
Turned
could
out to be a cop.
How could anybody? The fact that there are people who are mean to children is just.
I know.
They're so innocent. They're just kids love you unconditionally.
Right.
Anyway, that's terrible. Those people. I hope there's a special place in hell.
I hope so too. So she goes on to say that in 1969, so he would have been 19.
Woodstock.
Yeah. He married a 16-year-old girl.
Super.
They had 2 children. And this is where we have child death. So on September 25th, 1973, they find 2-month-old daughter Dejanay dead on the bathroom floor. I will skip over all the things that were done to her.
Thank you.
But it was a lot. And the dad blamed all of it on the 4-year-old son. He and his wife were both arrested and charged with murder. Steve notes that this happened in Texas and we're in California. So he's like, what happened? She says that he was convicted by a jury, sentenced to 70 years in prison, but he only served 10 of those 70 years. He was paroled in 1984. We don't know why.
I hate everybody.
I know.
A little baby.
So this is when he moved to Lake Elsinore, where he met his next child bride, Cheryl. She was 17. He's 39 now. They get married. They have a daughter named Bridget. When she is 3 months old, police are called to the home to find her with brain damage.
Shaken baby.
This time, neither parent was charged.
Great. Yep.
Okay, that's enough about the kid stuff. Some years later, 12 bodies are found dumped, not buried. Many of them were raped, stabbed, and mutilated. And in January 1992, he is stopped for a traffic stop, and inside his van, they find handcuffs, a highway patrol cap, and a sleeping bag that has fibers that match some of the fibers from the victims.
So he was masquerading as a patrolman, pulling them over, and then taking them. California, what's going on? Like, you guys make some murderers.
I know, they really do. Them in Florida.
Well, Florida is self-explanatory.
Wisconsin does too.
That's
does
true.
Different kinds of murders. But anyway, he was convicted of 12 murders. 6 of them were found within a 3-mile radius of the client's home. Oh my God. 2 of them were less than 4,000 feet from the home.
Here's what I want to know. Why was he out?
I know. If he had stayed in jail for his 70 fucking years, all of those women would have been alive and his second child.
Yeah.
Or his third
then
child.
That baby would have probably been born to somebody else.
Yeah.
Why was he out? Was she paroled, or do we not know? His wife, who was also charged with the murder of the first baby.
They never said what happened to her.
Well, she probably wasn't relative to the story. But if he was paroled, she probably was too.
Yeah, she probably was. Or maybe she wasn't convicted. I don't know. They were just charged. I know both, but I don't know. So then I looked him up a little bit to see what was going on. I wanted to see if he was still alive.
Hope he died a horrible death.
No, sorry. He's still alive. He was known as the Riverside Prostitute Killer, which they didn't say anything about these women being prostitutes in the Dead Files episode.
Well, what does it matter? I mean, they're just prostitutes.
No, it shouldn't matter.
That was sarcastic, by the way, everybody. Like, of course it matters.
Yeah. But I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't, to say they were prostitutes, it doesn't matter if they're prostitutes or not.
Exactly. That's my point. That's my point. Yeah. And I'm actually glad they didn't say that in the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're still human beings. It doesn't matter
exactly
what your job is.
Right.
It doesn't matter what you do to get money. You're still a person.
Right.
I hate this. I'm just going to keep playing with my clay. I've made a little block here.
Oh, look at that. You have control over something. Look at that.
Lucy Colors. I play with clay. I hate everybody.
So he was also known as the Lake Elsinore Killing. He was a 41-year-old government stock clerk from Riverside County, California, who liked to impersonate police officers, write books, drive fancy cars, and do community service work.
Well, look at him. He's giving back.
I know. The neighbors described him as a friendly nerd who was always doing things to help people.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's so nice. I never suspected it would be him.
Yep.
Those are the ones you got to look at.
Yep. Yep. And then it talks about
the deacon of a church.
No, I don't think so. But it does say that they think he might have been responsible for as many as 22 deaths in the area. He would cruise around in red light districts in a van and then knife his victims to death.
Jesus Christ. Yep. And is he in jail at least?
Sentenced to death. He's in prison. He's on death row, but he has been since 1995.
Can we just kill him?
Why? I don't know.
1995. That's almost 30 years.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
Yep. So we're back to Amy. They're inside. She gets an image of a little girl running and screaming and crying around the stairs.
Was the 4-year-old a boy or a girl?
The
one that they blamed the first baby's death on.
He was a boy. 4-year-old boy.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. 4-year-old boy. She said she could actually feel the little girl run through her. Like her spirit went right through her body. Okay, so now we're at the sketches. Mm-hmm. One of the tricksters, she says, is the most worrisome. Mm-hmm. She describes it to the sketch artist, and I just noted that the sketch artist appears to be native. He kind of looked Native American. Yeah.
That's cool.
We do the whole, Amy, is this what you saw? And she says,
yes, that's what I saw.
She just said yes this time.
Oh, look at her.
So this is at the, what?
She's evolving.
Yeah. She's switching it up.
She's going off script. Ad-libbing, if you will.
Well, yeah, she can do whatever she wants. She's Amy fucking Allen.
You don't tell Amy what to do. She tells you what to do.
Exactly. So it's Austin and Milena at the reveal, and Amy's in another room for the made-up reason. Yep. And the Amy says, the backyard energy is coming from a hill, and it flows right into their house. And it opens people up and heightens their abilities. Mm-hmm. And Milena says she can sense things that aren't there. Austin says he will have a thought that he will find out others have had the exact same thoughts. He finds out later.
Wow, that's
Steve
cool.
Steve asks Amy what their abilities are. And she says that Milena is a psychic empath healer. Mm-hmm. And Austin's is telepathy.
That's a badass ability.
Yeah.
Damn it, Austin, you get all the good stuff.
Yeah. Steve asks if if Milena's dad is here, and she says no, she didn't see him. They show a picture. She says no, I didn't see him.
That's
Steve brings up
good, but also like I get them wanting to believe that he's there.
Yeah. The Milena kind of looked a little dejected at first, and Steve said, "This is a good thing.
Yeah,
this is good."
It is.
She's like, she goes, I know.
But I get it. Like, you want to feel that close connection.
Especially with other bad shit in the house. Yeah. Don't you think you'd want to be like, oh, my dad's here watching over me?
Yep.
But, well, anyway. So Steve brings up the accident. Mm-hmm. The man who died was 27. Steve asks if he has attached himself to Milena, and Amy says, I don't get that at all.
Good.
And they're all super relieved. But then she talks about the tricksters, and she says the small skeleton body and with the human head and the other tall one, she thought was a shadow being, but she thinks they're tricksters. And Austin talks about the shadows, and when she explains it being a triangle, when Milena explains that she saw one of them as a triangle, Amy makes an icky face. And then Steve said he knows that tricksters are often natives and talks about the history, and we learn a lot about that. Amy says they were not associated with any tribe.
Okay.
She thinks they're an interdimensional being.
So we do have aliens.
I guess it is kind of aliens. Yeah. So this is not good. She said one of them came out in the ceiling over somebody who was sleeping. She saw that. And then Austin tells about his demon dream. And then Milena tells about her dream where she saw her dad, where he was in a coffin and looked emaciated. And that was before he died, but that's what he looked like when he died. Amy says that the tricksters create these nightmares. And then she shows the sketch. And I want you to see it because I know I've showed it to you before. Okay. Buckle up. This is
great.
Terrifying.
I'm excited.
I know.
Can't get any worse than what the fucking already. All right. Have you sent it? Okay.
No, not yet. It's can't get worse than what?
Than this whole fucking episode. Why are you so obsessed with me? All right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. I remember that one.
Yep. Yeah. So this is the sketch is this thing coming out of the ceiling and hanging over somebody. And
it's got like, it kind of reminds me of a vacuum where it's just like a big hole.
Yeah. And I remember last week I told you in my notes, I wrote vacuum monster. But yeah, it kind of looks like a cornucopia or something, like a
but creepy hand,
like a tube with it's hollow on the inside and big long arms with long fingers reaching out, and it's coming out of the ceiling.
God, I hate it.
And it's over a little girl in bed.
Yeah.
And then Austin says that looks like Delaney, his sister.
His sister.
13. She was not really in the episode. You saw her picture in the beginning, but she wasn't.
And how old is she?
13.
13. Okay.
And Austin says this is the feeling you get when you go to bed.
Yeah.
Amy says that the room she's in now, that Amy is doing the reveal from, which is Grandma's room, she says a woman sees these hands coming up from under the bed. Remember she described that? Austin talks about how his bed shakes every night. Milena talks about how her bed got punched. Austin talks about his legs getting pinched. And Amy says this like 98% sure that this is the tricksters that are doing all of this.
Yeah.
And they also make living people physically ill. And she says one woman is getting the worst of it.
Milena.
And and Amy says she could possibly be dying. And Milena is now crying. And she says that her blood pressure is out of control and they cannot find what's causing it. And she has really bad anxiety attacks. And Austin, and Austin tells them about it was so bad once that Milena told them to prepare for her death. She gave them all their passwords and everything, thinking that she was dying.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yep. So Amy says that the energy coming from the hill can wreak havoc on the living, especially sensitives.
Which they are.
Yep. And she says she doesn't know how anyone, especially with abilities, can spend more than a couple of hours in this house. It's not a healthy place to be at all.
Wow.
She recommends they move.
Really?
She said everything is working against you here. With these health issues, she's really worried. She said if you move, she recommends counseling as a family, as a whole for PTSD.
Yeah.
Because if not handled, it can get worse.
Yeah. And then maybe we'll get in like a PK, a poltergeist.
Especially with a 13-year-old in the house.
Yeah. And especially when they all have abilities.
Yep. And then she says that Milena should go to grief counseling because she believes that she has survivor's guilt.
Yeah.
And then they need to learn how to deal with their abilities. So Steve says, are you going to do all this? And Austin says, yes, of course. Our family is what matters the most. We have a video update. 5 weeks later, they found a PTSD counselor that they're going to be working with. So they haven't yet. They're planning on staying until they find a better place to go to. I'm sorry, but the triple, whatever, the Motel 6 down the street is a better place.
Yeah.
But, so as of 5 weeks, granted, that's only 5 weeks. I don't know why they did a follow-up so early. Yeah. That's very, very recent. But anyway.
Holy
That's that. Thanks a lot, Amy.
Yeah. Speaking of PTSD
Amy P, that is, not Amy Allen. Yeah, so.
Yeah, Amy P, not Amy Allen. We love Amy Allen. We love Amy P too.
We love Amy P too. This was a really good episode. It was really good. The family was wonderful. I'm
glad I didn't watch this episode. I don't think I could have with the history.
Yeah.
I probably. I would have.
It was bad.
I would have tapped out.
I'm glad I didn't tell you any more about what happened, but
I'm as well. Yes, please don't.
Anybody who cares can, or anybody who cares to know,
Yeah.
can go watch the episode or look up what William Suff did to his kids. Okay, it is now time.
Goes to hell so hard.
It is time for an Alanism.
It's time for an Alanism.
We need a theme song for Alanism. You can write that. You're better at that than me.
All right.
Do you want to pick a number?
Yeah, let's see.
Something we haven't done many that are between 64 and 83.
74.
74. Oh my God. I don't even remember this one. Okay. This is a good one. Someone had to pull some ropes and swing some ding-dongs to get that.
Everyone is gold.
I don't know. I wonder what he was talking about.
Oh, that's good. That's the saying when you get a good deal.
Yeah.
I had to pull some ropes and swing some ding-dongs to get the price.
Oh my God.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right.
Well, that's it. That's what we got, kids.
Yeah,
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us. I hope we made it to the end. Holy crap. Yes. And next week I will be doing The Devil Made Me Do It, which is season 1, episode 2. And what's up, everybody? I've already started watching it. Usually I wait until like the night before, and Amy's like, "You fucking do your shit." She doesn't. She says it nicer than that. She's like,
I'm like, so how's it going?
Yeah. She's like, just check in. Because I've known you for a while and I know you're a procrastinator.
Well, because I'm afraid that you're going to be like, forget that you're supposed to do it, and you'll like watch 5 hours of Roseanne instead or something. And I'm like, if you have the time, please watch the episode.
That's a fair concern. It's a fair concern. Although now I'm watching Castlevania because that's a really it's a good
okay. But I know what that is. Yeah. I've never seen it, but I know what it is.
Yeah.
This episode, I remember this one pretty well.
It's pretty good so far. It's creepy.
Yeah.
It's creepy.
Yeah. This is the bar, right? And somebody died in the basement?
It's the bar. Yeah. I haven't gotten there, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the bar.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's
it's only the second episode.
Yeah.
So we're brand new. Brand spanking new.
It's a good one. Steve gets to do something that we don't see him do, I don't think, in any other one.
Okay. Now I'm intrigued.
Not that I recall anyway.
I'll have to watch it later, though. It's 9:30, and I'm already scared from this episode. So I've got.
I don't think you should watch it tonight.
I'm gonna have to watch some Golden Girls as a palate cleanser.
It's not super scary, but there's some true crime aspect to it.
Okay,
I'll say that.
All right,
which there is to a lot of these.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks everybody.
Thanks everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
See you next time. Bye. Thank you for listening to the Activity Continues podcast. We really appreciate you giving us your ears for a bit. Please reach out if you have a suggestion for which episode of The Dead Files we should cover next, or if you have a spooky story you'd like us to share on the show. We can be reached at theactivitycontinues@gmail.com or through our website or any of our socials. Links are all in the description of the show. Please feel free to drop us a note and say hi. And join us next time when the activity continues. The Activity Continues is produced by me, Amy, at Collected Sounds Media, and is part of the independent Collected Sounds podcast network. We are also proud members of the Boo Pod network of super cool podcasts.
Nailed it.
Hi, friends. Do us and yourselves a favor and check out our affiliate, 3 Spirit Drinks. They create plant-based, non-alcoholic elixirs that are cruelty-free and vegan, and they are designed to give you some of the benefits of alcohol without the hangover and other side effects. If you're looking to cut down on alcohol but still want the buzz, check them out. The link is us.3spiritdrinks.com and use the promo code TheActivityContinues for 15% off your entire order. Breaking news! Our friends at Manscaped are now selling beard products. That's right. The leaders in men's below-the-waist grooming are once again revolutionizing the men's hygiene game with the new Beard Hedger Pro Kit. No one likes a weird beard, so say goodbye to all your stubble trouble and tame his mane. Save 20% and get free shipping by going to manscaped.com and using the code ACTIVITY.
This kit has a bunch of good stuff in it. Not only does it have the trimmer that can do not 1, not 2, not even 10, but 20 different lengths with just one guard, but it also includes beard shampoo, beard conditioner, beard oil, and beard balm.
And right now, they're also throwing in some other special gifts, a beard brush, comb, and his scissors to ensure that he has all of the tools for the perfect beard.
So get 20% off and free shipping with the code ACTIVITY at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code ACTIVITY. Manscaped Beard Hedger. 1 stroke, 1 guard, 20 lengths.